podcast in the bottom corner.
Where?
Oh, I don't see that. I see Bead Maker and Coffee.
Oh, mine literally shows Rennie Doyle podcast live. I kid you not.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
It's so weird how this program does that. It's so weird how we can see different things.
I'm going to pull it up on
Here,
Facebook.
I'm going to switch it. So now it says Rennie Doyle podcast.
Now it says Rennie Doyle.
Now I'm going.
No, in the bottom right, it shows live Rennie Doyle podcast.
Oh, you mean the logo?
Bottom right.
Yeah, the bottom right corner.
Oh, that's weird too. I don't see
I don't
that
see
either.
a bottom right. I have a bottom left, Bead Maker and Coffee.
Yeah, the bottom left is that, but the bottom right is Rennie Doyle. There it is.
Now it
It
says
just changed
60.
to the 60 year.
Oh,
Okay, now what happens when I hide it?
Now it's gone.
Okay, do
How
you see the
funny.
60-year one at the top right?
I do.
Okay,
How funny.
that's weird, but at least I can fix
Because
it.
I'm not looking at you. I look at the main screen.
Huh. All right,
So if
well,
you're
I'm going to go
zoomed in-
share this to a few places.
Yep.
I'm going to run inside and grab something since we have 1 minute. Can you guys still hear me?
I can.
Okay. And you just never know with this thing, you know? Man, this black Mustang, I'm literally, like, I'm not kidding, I'm never doing another one.
Oh, we gotta talk about black Mustangs and how
This one
much
is so
fun they are.
trashed. It looks 100 times better. I'm just too big of a critic.
Bob sent me a picture of that NSX that he's been working on.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that the other day.
Holy cow!
Yeah, this one was right up. It was, oh.
There you go, guys.
Here we
Hey,
are.
good morning.
Happy
morning,
Labor
everyone.
Day, everyone.
Yep, it is Labor Day. I have my Labor Day hair on.
We all decided that we weren't going to do our hair today, so we followed Sydney's example and put our PNS hats on, which
Yeah,
I really like this hat, by the way.
I do too. I do too. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I don't love trucker hats, but it fits my head really well. I love the color, so
Yeah,
if you guys like this hat, tell your distributors because
I like the gray up front.
they
It's
can
very
order
cool.
them for you.
Very cool. All right. Good morning, everybody. That's nice to see a bunch of people jump on this Labor Day.
Good morning, Kyle. Where you from, Kyle?
I
And
always forget where Kyle's from. Adam's
Cornelius
here.
Smith. Adam.
Very cool.
I'd love to see where you guys are from so we can talk about those areas too. Maybe we have some friends over there. All right. So, Sydney, how's your Labor Day going so far? What have you been laboring overall all day, all weekend?
You know, it's not too bad. Not too bad. I am working on another Black Mustang, which for anybody that knows me, I absolutely despise Black Mustangs. They all make me cry. They're the only car that makes me cry. This would be the fourth one after I adamantly put my feet down and said I would never do another one, but this happens to be my brother-in-law's. So I did it out of, family, whatever you call that. where you have to do it. Obligation. There you go. Obligation.
Is it obligation or was it coercion?
No, it was obligation. I wasn't really coerced. But it was so bad, and it looks 100 times better. But I mean, you can still see so many scratches and swirls, and lots of clear coat failure, like just teetering right on the brink. So I mean, we had to coat it, but it's not one that you feel good about. I mean, it had to be coated out of necessity more than for fun.
Yeah.
It had to be done out of necessity to just kind of stop whatever process is taking place. But man, it's a testament. It's only a 2016. It's a testament as to why you should ceramic coat a car when it's new. Because this car only has about 40,000 miles on it, and it is hammered.
Wow.
So, oh wait, I just saw Kyle is
Out of
There you
Colorado.
go.
He's
Kyle
out
from
by
Colorado.
Rupes in Colorado. That's cool. Rupes is awesome. And then we've got Adam, of course, in Mactucky, Oregon. McMinnville, for those who don't know what that means. Oh, Adam's on the road today. That's cool. Then we've got Cornelius out of Mississippi. That's awesome. That's very cool.
Thanks for joining us. And it looks like he's IDA, CD, SV as well. I can see that in his profile picture.
Awesome.
Very cool.
My pictures must be too small. I can't see a whole lot. Then we've got Matthew joining us out of Edmond, Oklahoma. That's awesome.
Yeah, Sydney, those black Mustangs, those jet black GT 350, 500.
Yeah.
I did one for SEMA a couple years ago, and I think I called you and I called Alex in Alaska out of frustration with this paint so many times. It was a lot of bleeping going on the phone.
Yeah. They just won't correct. I don't know. I tried.
And then you wipe it with a towel, right?
Yeah. And then it's all over. Yeah.
Yep. They just towel scratch. They coating them. It was a pain in the butt to figure out what it needs. But that's what we get paid to do, is figure out what vehicles need.
Yeah.
And how to get those results, even when they pisses us off.
Yeah. So here's the deal, everybody that's listening, this is the fourth Mustang I've done. The only one that turned out successful with the slight problem of melting something, none of them have corrected. So if anybody has cracked the code on the black Mustang paint, I mean, I would say, please let me know, but I really honestly never want to see another one in my shop. But if you've cracked the code, please let me know, because I feel like I know a lot about paint correction and nothing. I spent 7 hours on this and it looks like this much better. Like, I don't know. Wool, they almost can't take wool. So anyway, if anybody cracks the code, let me know. But we should everybody's saying where they're from, and this is kind of fun.
So we should, because I mean, what's it like 2:30 in the morning in Hawaii, Robin? Thanks for joining us, brother.
It's like the middle of the night. That's so funny. He's up early.
Or he's up late working on a car. Maybe he has a blackboard Mustang.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't been to bed yet. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, the key to those vehicles is just persistence. You just have to test and try, and every panel will act different. It's one of those that's really frustrating. It's like polishing bare aluminum.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get any
correction. Yeah. I just couldn't get any correction. And then there's only so hard that you can go, because there just wasn't enough paint on it. Like, I mean, I never would have wet sanded or anything like that, but the surface marring, so like the gray hazing came off, no problem. But those deep down scratches, I mean, they literally don't budge. And then you just get into the, there's so many areas that are about to fail that, I couldn't be too crazy. And then I don't know. And maybe it'll look better when it's not in my shop too. I mean, these lights I always tell people, these lights are going to make your car look the worst it's ever looked. And that's their job, right? I mean, exactly. That's their job. So that's all fine. But yeah, crazy. All right, so we've got Modesto, California, Big Jizzlinger from Modesto. We've got, let's see, Sabrina in North Carolina. Thanks for joining us. How awesome. I missed some of them, but lots of people from all over today, so that's super cool. Cornelius asked, what paint correction products do you guys use? So I used everything this weekend. I honestly used everything. And, we obviously really enjoy our Ego Maker Deep Finish. Great combo. I would say that's what I use most commonly. My other personal favorite is the Last Cut system. The Last Cut and the Last Cut Plus. Didn't touch anything on this car, that is usually my go-to for, tough paint. Didn't do anything. I used every pad I had, hard, soft, aggressive, everything. Wool. So yeah, pretty crazy. But generally speaking, if we just want to know what I normally use, it's Ego Maker Deep Finish. And then my very favorite polishing pad is the Blueberry from Buff and Shine. Love the yellow too, but really, really partial to the blue.
I have a ton of them. Yep. Yeah, that's Jace.
Yes. Yes.
You're right. Great guy, great product.
Great product.
We're always going to point you guys in the direction that we would go. And he's just awesome. So it's one of my go-tos as well. When Ego Maker isn't performing on the surface that we want. So I want to talk a little bit about a product that saved my butt the other day, because we're going to talk about products. So we're going to, in California, we have different cities that enforce, reclaiming and laws, and some don't. Well, I was just so happened to be in a city that really never does, but I was working out of a friend's window tint shop. And we were about to pull this Porsche 911 off the lift and go park it outside. We were going to wash it and get it all prepped. And, I was like, guys, let me just back the van into the shop. We're going to pull out the Epic Waterless Wash. We're going to Epic Waterless Wash it and do a little rinseless with it as well. We'll just do it right where it is on the lift. It's kind of nice to be able to clean the rockers. And so we're cleaning this car, and I had to go take a phone call. And I'm standing in the lobby, and a guy from the city walks by, and he's out checking on businesses, making sure they're, taking care of the EPA regulations for the area. That could have been really bad for me and for my buddy's window tint shop. So this guy, I heard, only comes around every once in a while. And thanks to Epic Waterless Wash, doing it indoors that day, I avoided getting in trouble. And there it is. There's a beautiful new bottle. I think Chris actually has a great photo for us too.
I don't know about great, but let's see what I found.
It shows it a little bit better in our beautiful model's hands.
Yeah, actually, I'll get there. My my computer is a little unhappy this morning. It's like every click is like wait forever.
It's supposed to be the day off.
Yeah, it's
yeah, exactly.
Apparently, $3,500.
There we go.
Are only good for about 3 years.
There we go. There's Ian.
So
Ian using Epic.
Why we would use Epic, Sydney? What makes Epic different than paint gloss?
So Epic's got some polymers and emulsifiers in there. So it is, chemically made to be a waterless wash. So emulsifiers, I think they're citrus-based emulsifiers, polymers that encapsulate the dirt, lift them away from the surface so that they can be safely removed, via just a towel. So it's a great product for when you're on the go. I like to keep some in my car just for if, bugs or bird droppings or something happens on the road. It's kind of a nice emergency cleanup. It's also a great, door jamb cleaner. That's primarily what I use to clean the door jambs. There is some synthetic waxes in it also. So it's going to leave behind a little bit of shine and protection, which in those cases is really nice, especially on the door jambs. I like to leave, just a little bit of protection shine. And then it is also great as a pre-rinse. And I think you use it as a pre-rinse, don't you, Kyle?
Yeah, that's kind of what we did on that Porsche.
It was a pre-rinse, a pre-spray.
Yeah. I went ahead and I misted the panels down, let it work, and then I came by with more of a rinseless wash style and did that. That way it kind of pre-lubricated those areas. And the Porsche that we were working on wasn't bad at all. But what I was trying to avoid was I didn't want to make a mess on the floor of the shop. So that's why I did it that way, so I could use less water and not have to mop the floor later. And so in that case, it works great. I know Rennie does that as well. When he does a rinseless, he uses it to pre-lubricate, especially the lower areas of the vehicle where more dirt and grime, are found. So that's my story of what I used a product on last week. It was actually kind of like a sigh of relief moment where me and my guys were, oh crap, that was that could have been bad, or maybe not. The guy was actually really cool. When he saw us working inside the shop, he was actually really happy to see us in there using it. So maybe it scored some brownie points with the city. I don't really work in that city very often, but it was cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So tell us what product you used last week.
Yeah. So last week when I was thinking about kind of, what products came in clutch for me last week, I would have to say that it's Wipe and Shine. And I know we talk about it occasionally, but the more I thought about it was, why do I use Wipe and Shine so much versus like Dynamic or Odyssey? And so it just so happened that this week I had several coating jobs to do. So Wipe and Shine, which one I want to show, and I don't want anybody to go out and make a bunch of calls, but we have a new label for Wipe and Shine, which is so cool. We're super excited about it. It looks awesome. I don't know if you can see the color. Wipe and Shine is kind of like a teal blue. And so the label matches all nice. So these will be phased in. So there will be a rolling change on the Wipe and Shine. So we're just about finished with our stock of the old labels. And so they'll just kind of roll in. So you'll start seeing these at your distributors and things like this, but love the new label. But let's talk about why I use Wipe and Shine. And I use it exclusively when I'm doing coated cars. I use it other times too, but when I'm coating cars, I only use Wipe and Shine as my tire dressing. So I kind of consider it as my premium tire dressing. And the reason why is I usually apply the tire shine right after I've done, usually I do it before I do the paint prep or right after, but it's always after I'm done compounding and polishing. So kind of in that final prep for coating, but I usually like to have the tire shine on before I'm actually coating. I don't like to put anything on after. So, but I still use Wipe and Shine because if I'm at that stage where I've just finished compounding or I've just finished using paint prep, I use the Wipe and Shine because from that point forward, I don't want anything sprayed in the air. I don't want anything aerosolized to be, moving around in the air or anything like that. So I use Wipe and Shine because you put it on a brush and you brush it on and nothing goes up in the air. Love the finish of it, but that is kind of one of the biggest reasons that I use it when I'm coating is so that I literally am not introducing anything else into the airflow. So I just wanted I used a lot of this week. I think I refilled this bottle a couple times. I went through a ton of this. The other cool thing about Wipe and Shine is when I was at the rag company last week, we did some videos and we used it on Gabe's truck and the tires looked amazing, but then we kind of took a towel and just lightly buffed the surface. And then what's really cool is you can rub your hand right across it and nothing transfers off onto your hand. So it's also one that, you can literally eliminate all sling, which is really cool. So love the Wipe and Shine. If you haven't tried this,
as long as
it's
the
awesome.
tire is prepared with undressed.
Yes.
And, or brake buster, whatever level of cleaning it needs. It works great. I've done it in a few different ways also where we've used Wipe and Shine before we've coated a vehicle. And then I usually put tire covers over. And that way we're not touching it. I've also done it at the end. Like I did a BMW 340 Was it on Friday? Yeah, on Friday, and we had it on the lift, and we dressed it. It was so nice. I just dressed the tires on the lift. We ceramic coated it the day before, and it rolled away, and it was beautiful. So yeah, I love that you're not spraying anything near a coated vehicle. And that's just kind of a more of a geek out thing, but I just don't want to be close to a vehicle with anything that's going to leave silicone on it in the paint.
So that brings up a good question. So Detail Will asked, is Wipe and Shine water-based or silicone-based? It is water-based. And it's a gel. And so, and we have a couple of videos. I can't remember if we have new videos out or if we have them coming out, but
it's not dilutable though.
Yeah, it's not dilutable. But what's cool about Wipe and Shine is you can use it on wet or dry tires. So even though it's not dilutable, you can totally put it on wet tires. So again, if I'm doing like a just a maintenance wash and the tire doesn't have time to dry before I need to dress the tires because it's just a quick, 30-minute wash, I usually always choose Wipe and Shine for that same reason. It goes great on wet tires. So I think we have a video. Actually, I know we do. We have a video on our YouTube channel now that I think about it. It was one from last November. And so we talk about how to put Wipe and Shine on. So Kyle and I both use a tire brush, a dedicated tire brush. We use the salt and pepper one. And you just put the gel on the tire. And then, you can see right there. And then you just brush it on. It's so awesome. You keep it off the wheel. You get around all the edges underneath, which is great when you use that brush. You don't have any of that rollback dry spot. So Wipe and Shine's great. And then Wipe and Shine, like you can see, we used it at Monterey because it is so easy to use, like in a show type setting. You can dress your tires right there and you're not spraying a bunch of stuff. You're not, so it's a really, really great dressing. I mean, I use a lot of our other tire dressings also, but I use Wipe and Shine a lot. It's a really versatile dressing.
I kind of consider it more of my premium dressing because I'm using it on that premium surface, on that services. Then I, for other, surfaces, I'm using dynamic. And then I use Shine All for pretty much everything else for maintenance details or washing. So I kind of have my 3 tiers of dressing with those. And depending on maybe a customer's preference, I would change it up as well. But I really like how it gives a nice gloss, but it's not like crazy wet. And it's not
it's just really black.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess Odyssey makes that really black too.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Ben.
Yeah, finally caught a live stream. That's awesome.
So this
all right, here's one for you, Kyle.
In your questions, let's go for it.
Yeah, so Cornelius asked, is Sol good for mobile and what's the downfall with outside applications?
Sol is great for mobile. There's downsides to every coating when you're a mobile detailer, but there's also some benefits, especially with Sol, because it's so easy to put on. And you're going to see your customers annually because it's, going to be a reoccurring service. As long as you're doing Sol in the shade and you got the paint nice and cool before you apply Sol, it'll be great for you. There's some areas. I was just down in the Indio, California area where it was like 113. And the car just didn't want to cool down. This was for a demonstration we were doing. Had we had the time to rinse the car down, cool it down, get the interior temperature and engine temperature down, then dry it, it'll probably stay cool enough in the shade to apply Sol. You just got to make sure that it's not, 90 degrees. If the paint's 80, you should be just fine. There's a lot of benefits to how you can use it on the plastics, the trim. I use it on paint protection film, those types of areas. As far as like textured plastic goes, I always would recommend using our Inspiration. It works best. It gets in all the pores of the plastic. It won't leave behind any residue because it does have just the right amount of active ingredient. versus Soul and Legend are on two separate ends of the spectrum. They don't work so well on plastics. So if you're doing plastic trim, use Inspiration. If you're doing wheels, use Inspiration. It works great. Soul is a great top coat for those. You can put it on after that, but originally use Inspiration. You got to be careful with the ambient temperature when you're using Legend. If it's 115 outside and you're in the shade and the paint's cool, it's still going to flash fast. It's just too hot outside. So that can be the drawback, as you mentioned. But I think you'll enjoy using Soul, and there's a lot of it, and it's a big bottle, and you can get a lot of vehicles. How many vehicles do you usually get out of Soul, Sydney? I'm seeing about 6, 7. Because I'm doing bigger vehicles.
Usually some big trucks too. Yep. Yeah, usually 5 or 6. I tend to overuse Soul. Quite honestly, I use way more than is necessary. And but yeah, good 5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. If you're doing nothing but Mini Coopers, like Chris does, or smart cars like the Parkers, then you probably can get about 20 cars out of it.
Yep. That's funny. Cool. All right. How about that Lake Country question? Was that the next one?
It might be.
Yeah, it came in.
So I'll read it because it's about to disappear on my screen. So, are you a fan of Lake Country rotary polishing and buffing hook and loop pads? So, Ben, yes. Lake Country makes good pads. I think that when it comes to the pads, they're very similar. I think that, one thing I've noticed is don't buy cheap pads off like Amazon. Those aren't going to get you anywhere in life. So Lake Country is great. The CCS structure, I have a couple of those. I actually use the CCS structure on my window polishing, believe it or not. I like those ones for glass polishing. But for the most part, me personally, it's all a personal preference. Lake Country makes great pads. The difference between say Lake Country and Buff and Shine for me is the shape of the pad. And so Lake Countries tend to be more cone shape and flat, and Buff and Shines have the curved edges. Me personally, I prefer the curved edges, but yes, Lake Country makes a great pad. There's nothing wrong with that. That just is a personal preference thing. Kyle knows a lot more about the science of pads, but for me, it just comes down to personal preference.
Really, you can't go wrong with Lake Country or Buff and Shine. They both have premium foam. They both are always evolving the technology in the industry. As far as pads in the U.S. and foam and even wool and microfiber, you got to give both companies a look and try and see what you like preference-wise, like Sydney mentioned, because they both have invested in the technology and the research and development. And I do have a few Lake Country pads. I have a lot of Buff and Shine pads, to be honest. I have our Reflection Artist branded PNS pads, which are great. And I don't know exactly the CCS structure, but I do have some old Lake Country pads and some new ones that the brown looking one and the green looking one that came out with their new tool that I've been able to play with. And you know what? They're in my, man, the birds are going crazy behind me. They will stay in my toolbox because I never know when I need a different type of pad. It's just another tool in my arsenal.
Yep.
It will stay in my toolbox because I never. Wow.
Yep.
Feedback.
Yeah, we got a little feedback. So Mike C says, is Bead Maker better to use on bare paint for my parents' new car? I don't have time to coat it until maybe the spring. I say absolutely. Keep it protected until the spring. That's a great plan. It'll be easy to remove in the spring. And so I would just, keep it on every 2 months or so. Make sure that good washing processes until then, and you're going to be good.
Though, Sydney, I would say we keep saying that Soul is as easy to put on as Bead Maker. And really, you could get away with washing, drying, maybe doing a clay, because you should clay anyways. Before you bead maker, dry it really well, hit it with some paint prep, and hit it with sole. Not having time to coat it, sole is that easy that you could put it on, like I said, in a nice, cool, shaded area, and you're talking the difference of time of maybe 5 or 10 minutes, if that. So that may be an option for you if you want to put some a little bit more protection on it. If not, bead maker will hold you over, hold their paint and protect it until it's time to put something more substantial on it, like Legend.
So Trevelli says, how long should I wait before the second application of Inspiration or Legend after the first coat? And how long after that is sole to apply on the top for a topper? We don't want any of the subsequent applications to reactivate the layer. So I usually wait 45 minutes to an hour, but no sooner than 45 minutes. And you'll be fine any of those combinations at 45 minutes to an hour. Just try to not do it before that, because like you say, it could reactivate it, but you're not going to reactivate it at 45 minutes. So you're good.
Yeah, I would agree. I usually wait about an hour. We're in different areas of the country, but an hour is kind of like my time to go and do something else, maybe vacuum out the car, finish the windows, just stay productive doing something. That way, when you're done with your second layer, you inspect it and it's done and you can move on. And sole is my topper. I tend to wait, but just because I have a little bit of flexibility on time, I don't have to wait, but I tend to wait. Sometimes I'll wait two hours before sole, just because I have no real reason. But usually, depending on, I back it up from when my customer's coming, and I try to do it, an hour or two before they're coming for pickup, unless it's the next morning. Then of course I don't wait, but I for whatever reason I wait on sole, but like I say, it's for no reason. It's just to give that second coat a good time to kind of set. But yeah, you're good. 45 minutes to an hour. And all right, so Ben, go ahead.
I was just going to read Ben's comment. Kerosene can do amazing things to clean and remove debris from automotive paint finish as an ingredient, and 3M perfect it. If you inhale it, it will make you violently ill. I've never used kerosene on a car. I'm going to take your word on that one.
It's an old school trick. I don't know if I use it on some of our newer, more finicky paints. It'll swell the clear coat.
And gotcha. Okay.
That's what's kind of referring to. I've seen it done, but I've never done it.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then our friend from Modesto says about throwing Rupes in there. Yeah, Rupes, great pads, but until recently, Lake Country was just a pad company and Buffett Shine was just a pad company. Now, Lake Country has a tool. Now, Rupes has a tool. The other thing is, the reason why I didn't throw that in is because I tend to think of Rupes as Italian and European. There's lots of foam all over the world, but I know for a fact that Buff and Shine and I know Lake Country are making their pads here in the U.S. That's why I kind of mentioned just those two as the leaders in pads, because that's their main focus. Rupes' main focus is tools. So, but they do have great pads as well. There's many other companies that make pads.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Okay, so Cornelia says, is there an all-in-one pad that can be used for custom polish and shine? I'm not totally sure what you mean by that, but just mean like a more, kind of an all-in-one pad that you can use for an all-in-one product?
Yeah. For me, Sydney mentioned it earlier, the blueberry pad from Buff and Shine is kind of my
I'm going to go grab one. I'm out in my drawer, but I'm going to go grab one. I'll be right back.
So what I do with it, with any pads, is I want a pad that can be soft enough when it warms up, but also stiff enough when I'm pushing really hard and I have more of aggressive compound. So yeah, the blueberry pad is what it's kind of nicknamed. The other versatile pad that I like is, there you go. Is it? Let me see the backside. Is that? Yeah, that's the PNS
I have
branded
it
one.
right side up. Gosh, I'm so bad at
So,
trying to get stuff on camera.
Another versatile pad would be like the blended wool from Buff and Shine Manufacturing. It's kind of a gray black look, and it will cut and finish out pretty nice, depending on what you're doing. So it's kind of in that realm right there. Oh yeah, you got one perfect.
Yep.
If you need to cut something and then finish it down, so you can either leave it if you're really cycle the product a lot, or go to your final step, that's the wool for you. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And for those who don't know, since we're talking pads, let's talk about these real quick, Kyle. So
yeah, there you go.
The double black line, for those that don't know, we do have the Rennie Doyle double black collection of pads, which are the Buff and Shine Reflection Artist pads, but you can get them from PNS and they're branded PNS. So that's kind of cool. So they just have the little double black on the back. Yep. So we have, these are just 3 of them. These are kind of my 3 favorites. So we have the burgundy, the blue, and the yellow foam. So they just, in terms of aggressiveness, and then we have a couple other out of that Reflection Artist line. So we have been kind of working on this project a little bit. So good time to talk about that, but we do have those branded in the double black line, which is awesome.
And we also, in the PNS professional line, we have a lamb's wool. That I really, really like, especially because the interface on it.
Find one that's not
there. Yeah, it's been. Yep. There you go. Really nice. It absorbs the heat well. It lasts. I really like that lamb's wool, and I don't know if Sydney has one or not, because I don't know if she's using it. We have a twisted wool as well, and it's like a 6.5 inch.
No, that's not this one. No, that's microfiber. Twisted wool. Let's see.
It's like the old school twisted wools, just down to a really small size with no rolling edge. I use them all the time for RVs. So we do have a line of pads that are available to our distributors, from heavy cut twisted wool all the way down to a finishing foam.
Yeah.
And a finishing microfiber as well.
Yep.
Detail will. Cool.
Hey guys, there's a question way back. I wasn't sure if we were going to address it or not.
Oh, okay.
I can't see it. Bring it up.
Yeah, they're going kind of fast on my screen.
It's about you know what.
Okay. So
we decided we'll talk about it. So go for it, Sydney.
So there's a product coming out. I'm sure everybody has seen some buzz about it. You know what? Here's the best thing to say about that product. So this week is the week. You're going to hear all kinds of stuff about it. So stay tuned. Stay tuned on our Instagram and Facebook tomorrow. Stay tuned. Make sure you watch the Rag Company. Everything you need to know it's coming, guys. But in this question specifically,
Sydney? you can say the name.
Oh, it's called Dream Maker, but
okay, anyway. We can say it now.
But I do want to address what Sarah's asking in this question. So it says, can you coat it do you have to take it off before coating? So yes. Pretty much before you coat anything, you have to remove all previous products. So whether it's Bead Maker, Soul, Dream Maker, you need to remove everything before you put a coating on. So yes, to answer the question, yes, you do need to. And actually, here's the deal. You're not really going to have to take it off. It's not going to be there. Prep. Yeah. You're going to be fine. Yep.
If you you'll find out more if you head over to the Rag Company's podcast on is it Thursday at 2 p.m.
Yeah. Yep.
Sydney's going to be there with the guys to answer it. We've been waiting on a few important things for them to receive so that we could do the launch. If you've noticed, we kind of held off on it. Some of you have actually we're already getting the questions about it. And you gotta wait till Thursday. Well, it'll all be answered on Thursday.
Yes.
But if you look at the bottle and the pictures that are out there and you read what the bottle says on the front, that's all it is.
Yes. Yes.
It's all it
and
is.
So no, it's not a sealant. And then the other question we get is it bead maker? No, Sarah, you're fine. No. The beans are spilled. It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
We've been wanting to talk about it. We just had to wait, and we're excited that it's finally can be mentioned. Yeah. But Dream Maker is just a gloss amplifier. Don't read into it too far. If it doesn't say there's no Teflon, graphene, titanium, it's shine in a bottle, and it's really awesome. So
just make sure you follow. Make sure you follow all social media this week. Make sure you listen to the Rag Company podcast. Make sure you follow definitely listen to the Q&A on Thursday. Everything we need to know will be out about it. One of the main things is we just wanted to make sure that people could get it. Everyone's going to be super excited about it. And, so with everything that's going on, there's always supply issues and shipping issues and stuff like that. So we just wanted to make sure that when we went full speed with it, that you could get your hands on it. So,
and it smells amazing. If you bought it just for the smell alone, you're going to love it. Just spraying it on your car. But like Sydney said, and we'll get off this topic because supply issues and being able to order things. We released Undressed a while back, and we had it, and distributors hadn't picked it up yet. So we were getting social media questions: where can I get it? Where can I get it? Where can I get it?
Yep.
And we had no answers because we were calling our distributors saying, "How come you haven't picked it up yet?" And that was kind of, frustrating. But what we found is when we released it, a lot of distributors they already placed an order. And so they just received an order. They're waiting to place another order. And so it didn't make sense for them to ship a pallet of product to them that they didn't need just yet. So now we fell into the cycle, and Undressed should be available on many different distributors' websites soon. It's all over at stores. I know for sure in Southern California, lots of stores have it. And so kind of in a weird place the last couple months with what's in stock and where to find it. It was available, just wasn't there yet. So now stay
it's
tuned
no different
to the Rag
than
Companies.
It's no different than everything else. It's a wild goose chase to find the things we want. So thank you everybody for your patience.
These hats took a long time to get. We ordered them like 3 or 4 months ago, and then everything's on delay. So be patient with your distributor of PNS because they're being patient with us, and we are being patient with our bottles and our raw materials, and it definitely rolls uphill and downhill right now.
Yep. To answer Anthony, and then we'll finish on the Dream Maker. Is Dream Maker replacing paint gloss? No, Dream Maker's not replacing anything, and it's not like anything else we have. So it's not a replacement for anything. It's an addition to the double black line. It's going to be awesome. It has a very specific use, and paint gloss is still going to be a total workhorse in all the other realms. But they're not the same product by any means.
Yeah, paint glosses, our clay lube, our anti-static spray, our quick detailer, so versatile. Dream Maker is just a final wipe down shine in a bottle.
Yep.
With an amazing smell. All right. Any other questions, Chris? Stay tuned.
Also, I want to say we brought up Undressed. We're gonna have a lot of great videos coming up about Undressed, by the way. So shameless plug, if you don't follow our YouTube channel, we've been really working on that this year, and we'll have lots of new videos dropping soon. So make sure you follow our YouTube channel. If anybody in the comments has used Undressed, we would love to hear your feedback. I know we are obviously loving it. And so if you've used it, if you found the golden ticket, let us know. And let's see. So Detail Will has, I'm guessing you've used the Dream Maker. He says it's very glossy. Yes, it is very glossy. Alex says to make the vehicle pop to get that nice tip from the customer. Yeah. Could have called it Tip Maker. Would have been good.
Dang.
That's the next one.
We'll have to remember that.
Bob,
We'll
we need to
That's a good one.
Trademark another name.
Yeah. That's funny. That's awesome.
Dollar bills all over the label.
Very good. All right. So Adam, Undressed is legit. It is, right? So awesome. Yeah. So I love
Thanks,
Undressed.
Alex.
So in case there's anybody that hasn't heard about Undressed, it's just our tire prep. Completely removes all of the old tire dressings, the browning from the sun, or just the vehicle sitting. It just does a great reset. That's the best way that I can describe it. Brake Buster is an awesome, awesome maintenance tire and wheel combo cleaner. But when you need a total reset, so again, on coated cars, I always use Undressed on coated cars. Just totally reset the whole car, right? And so it's not one that you're going to use it every time you wash a vehicle. And it's just when you need to totally reset that tire. It's very, very awesome. Very awesome. And then you definitely notice, for me, what I notice the biggest thing is not necessarily when I've rinsed and dried the tire. Obviously, it looks a lot cleaner, but the biggest win from using Undressed is looking at your new tire dressing and just how it lays on that rubber. Totally different. I mean, you can just see that it bonds with the tire. It's just awesome. Very, very awesome.
I've tried to dress tires before where there was old dressing and it just looks like a layer of just gross tar. And your brush is going to build up with like that gunk.
Yeah.
It's going to help your applicator work better too, because you're not going to be removing old dressing while you're applying new dressing. It does a good job of that.
Yep. And then Adam with a question, what's the pH on Undressed, or is it more bleach than alkaline degreaser? Do you know that?
I think it's more of an alkaline degreaser. That's what I took from it. But it's not hazardous. So we can, your distributors can ship a gallon of it to you. So it can go ground.
Yeah. And let's talk about the degreaser situation. So, because we get that comment a lot, like, oh, you can do that with a degreaser. Yeah, you can. You can clean a tire with degreaser. I think the difference here is that this was specifically formulated to work on rubber and, tires and things like that. And so it's not going to fade it itself. So I remember back when I first started detailing and I would use a degreaser, one that I can think of that gets mentioned a lot is like that Totally Awesome or whatever that stuff is. And when you use that, it'll clean the tires, but it also kind of browns them themselves. It dehydrates really a lot on like WeatherTech mats. If you use too strong of a degreaser, it almost like bleaches it and dries it out. And what I find with Undressed is it does not dry your tire out. So then, it's not going to cause you to have to use more product to rehydrate. And then, dehydrating your tires is not a good idea. So yes, you can use a degreaser, but this works differently.
Well, here's another point. So a lot of degreasers you've noticed back in the day have been like a dark brown or a red or something like that. One of the reason I believe Undressed is yellow is because it was originally formulated for white wall tires, where that yellow is not going to transfer color or leave the white wall looking different. It's going to just clean it. If you were to use a super heavy degreaser on white walls that is brown or red, you may change the color of the white wall itself. I know because I've tried it a long time ago, and it did do that. It kind of turned it a little bit pinkish, where the yellow color in ours didn't leave anything behind. So that's why Undressed is meant to be that color and that strength. It was meant for white walls. If you have, lowriders or classic cars, great product for it. If you live in Texas and you want to have white letters on the side of your truck like Walker Texas Ranger, I love that show. That's why I bring it up all the time. Then you're going to clean the letters on your be it Fit Wrench tires or your off-road tires.
In case we haven't seen this, I just want to show the bottle. It's cool.
It's like, honestly, it's one of my favorite labels. I love the tire tread on the label. I think that was so cool.
Very cool. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. We've got John, what's the sweet spot for a mixture of Brake Buster and the IK pump sprayer for a vehicle that gets washed 2 to 3 times a month? Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to you too. And thanks for joining us on Labor Day. That's awesome. So Brake Buster in the IK, I tend to do 1 to 5. So 5 parts water, 1 part Brake Buster. There is a sweet spot for sure. Those pump sprayers are awesome, but you can also hate them if you don't get the mixture right, for sure. So I like 1 to 5, even 1 to 7 works great too. And I don't have any problem leaving my product in the IK. I know some people say not to leave it, but I think if you're doing 2 to 3 times a month, you're probably going to be okay. I leave mine in it and I, use it. It's great. And the thing about it is the pump sprayers is just make sure that your filter is washed often. That's usually the failure point in those. So some people will blame the product that it shoots out like shaving cream, but your filter has to be clean. So make sure you take that tip off the end of your IK sprayer. And, I usually just take some like pearl soap and wash that filter real well between my fingers, rinse it, let it dry, put it back into the IK. If you keep your filter tip top, you're going to love your IK sprayer.
I'm going to jump in from behind the scenes real quick.
Yeah.
I keep Brake Buster in an IK Pro 12.
Yep.
And I mean, I've had some in there for a year, easy, and I've had no problem. But one of the things that I do is I release that valve after I'm done using it, and I let
don't leave it pressurized. Out. Yeah, don't leave it pressurized. Yep.
I have so many pump sprayers for other things, for express, for bug off, for bead maker, that I actually don't use an IK because I have no room in my van for one anymore. And I use Brake Buster straight, and I use the spray bottle.
Yep. Yeah.
So because I have a bucket dedicated just for undressed Brake Buster, Iron Buster with all my brushes. An IK with all that would just clutter it up for me. So my system is I stick with the spray bottles that we already have.
Yeah. And I do primarily use. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I primarily use it in a spray bottle too, only because, again, I love the IK sprayers, but I do forget to do the maintenance on them. So I tend to just grab the spray bottle of Brake Buster, but I do love the IK. And I, like Chris, actually prefer the IK 12. I use that a lot more than the pump sprayers just because, you have to pump it up pretty solid, every wheel. So I do love it in the IK 12 more than the pump sprayers, but that's all personal preference. I think too, when you're in a shop that's more higher volume, you're going to find those pump sprayers a little bit more frustrating to use rather than if you're just washing your own car.
One thing I wanted to bring up about our spray bottles, and this came up last week when I was doing an open garage. Well, we've talked about, our spray bottles are labeled with all the safety on it and the OSHA compliant information. Someone that I talked to later was like, I'm glad you told me that because I need to buy all the bottles. He worked near an airport or at an airport and got hit up by OSHA for having bottles that were not labeled. And so that's one reason that I really like that we have our compliant bottles. And they have a nice label on them. They last. But that was something that kind of stood out to me. I've always kind of done that, but never been hit up by OSHA, knock on wood. So having all of our products properly labeled is really important.
Yeah. Yep. So the next question, what is basically Anthony's asking, now that we're on to wheel cleaners, how would you compare Brake Buster versus knockoff? Do you want to take that one?
So knockoff was designed to be diluted through the Chemtrol system. It is a concentrate wheel cleaner. And the Chemtrol system is great for detailers. I have one, Sydney has one, other detailers I know have them in their own home shops. But it's also for body shops and car washes and, dealerships, those types of places. And so when you dilute it properly and use it, it works just fine. It doesn't suds the same as Brake Buster does. It is not Brake Buster concentrate. It's a different type of cleaner, but I get really good results when you use it in a foaming tip spray bottle or a foaming tip IK. That's where I see it works really good.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for more of a highly dilutable tire and wheel cleaner, then knockoff's your thing. If you're more of a pro to prosumer, then Brake Buster is still killing it, still doing a great job. It's just knockoff was meant for a chemtrail system.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find the same. I find that knockoff for me works better in a foamer. However, I'm very partial to Brake Buster. So I just tend to grab for Brake Buster more often. But I do want to share what I actually use knockoff for, because I do use a ton of knockoff. So for those of you that haven't seen my shop floor, I have the tiles, it's not, I just lost
like
the word.
Swiss Tracks.
Yeah. Like Swiss Tracks. It's not real, but it's a knockoff, but this is going to work the same on any floor tiles. And so I actually use it to mop. So I have it hooked up on my chemtrail on the bucket fill side. And so I fill my mop bucket with it. And then I mop my shop floor, because what's generally on the floor is all the stuff that comes off everybody's tires and brakes. So I use it to mop those tiles, and it works perfect. So that's what I primarily use knockoff for. And it works great for removing all the stuff that came off the tires and acid wheels. Yeah.
Acid-free wheel cleaner. And so it's meant to get the dirt and grime off of rims, tires, plastic, so it works great on your floors.
Yeah.
But that's really important is it's safe. So it's kind of like we have this trifecta of wheel cleaning. So now we have Iron Buster for iron removal on the wheels. We have Brake Buster for dirt and grime on the wheels and tires. And then we have Undressed that is meant for heavy cleaning on the tires. So with those three products, you should always be able to clean the wheels, whatever desired strength or need for the customer's wheels. Have a question, or I don't know if this is a question. How about wire wheels from Malco? I don't know the product. I've never tried it. Anything that says wire on it, maybe you can tell us. I always think of an acid, because everyone used to bring up like the spoked wires, the mag wheel cleaner. We do have an acid wheel cleaner, but you don't really need acid wheel cleaners anymore with what we have. If you need an acid to clean wheels, it's someone who drove their car for years without ever cleaning their wheels. And I've had that, and I've actually pulled out some acid and did that in the past, not too long ago. But you ever notice why people's brake calipers are, peeling or rusting, or their wheels look, chalky or dried out? It's because they take it to the car wash, and the car wash, whoever is doing it is, or maybe they have some that washes at their office. They're using acid improperly. So be careful with acids. I don't know detail, Will. I'm not sure. I've never used Malco's product.
I'm not used to it either. Yeah. And, for me, I just always err on the side of using the safest product. So I don't use wheel acid either. One, because I'm in a home shop, right? So that's not a good product to use in a home shop in my neighborhood. And then, like Kyle said, I just would rather use safer products that are going to do the job, and not take a risk of hurting something. So
use the least aggressive method and then go up from there.
Yeah.
So Chris, do we have any more questions? We're kind of at that time where like all the questions start rolling in real fast. Or they die off.
There's one comment of Ben's that I just want to address, because I think this is important. So he said, for one thing, to really get wheels cleaned without brakes, it's better if you can carefully take the wheel off the vehicle. So let's talk about that. I agree. If you could take the wheels off, that you can get the wheels cleaner. However, just check this for me. I don't know if you're an enthusiast or if you're a detailer, but being in the industry, I've heard and seen a lot of things that can be pretty scary. And so one of the main things that I want you to check before you're doing that is just check your insurance. So if you're a detailer and you're working on other people's cars, If you have garage keepers insurance, just check with your insurance that you're covered to do that, because a lot can go wrong, and I've seen things go wrong. It's kind of similar to if you use a lift, make sure that your insurance covers using a lift. We see a lot of things go wrong and detailers not be covered. So I agree. It would be great to take the wheels off the car and get them super clean. I myself, when I called my insurance agent, I'm not covered to take wheels off. I'm not covered because you have to lift the car off of the ground. And so anything that I'm not covered for, I could certainly add it for sure, but the difference in the cost was not worth it. So I just want to mention that you're not doing anything wrong. I just want to mention it. If you are a detailer, just double check that your insurance covers it. If you're doing it on your own car, knock yourself out.
Yeah, same idea. I actually have some, a lot of friends in the industry, and some of them have gone in the route of wheel and tires. You do have to have like a special certificate for wheel removal and lift usage. Yeah. Honestly, I don't like doing it, I've done it in the past. If I can get the wheel clean and coat it, especially on a brand new vehicle, if I can reach in there and get it, then I'll do it. But if not, you really got to make sure that it's torqued down properly. There's lots of things you need to do. Some people have actually gone and received their ASE certification for it, because now you're getting into mechanic world. Yeah. And even unbolting seats and doing that kind of stuff. Another one. Yeah. Don't let that bite you in the butt one day if someone was in an accident, even though you did the right thing and strapped it down, doesn't mean a lawyer is not going to come after you. So just be smart about it. And it's not cool to take off wheels. It's just part of the process if you're a professional and you're doing that. So I did a Porsche earlier last week and a BMW ceramic coating, and it was on a lift, not my shop. And I did not have to take the wheels off. I was able to get everything that I needed to protect, except for where the lug nuts go behind the face of the wheel. But I got the back of the spokes on the wheel. I got the barrels, everything. So I just do my best. And I hire employees that have tiny hands because they reach in there and they get the calipers and everything a little easier than I can. Or I will airbrush it if I have to. If I can't reach it, we'll airbrush. So
yeah. Yep. Cool. And Dano said, great talk, you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we got some new people on here. It was really cool to meet some of you. Thanks for joining us today. We want to keep this consistent, even though today's Labor Day. Sydney's obviously home with family and she has a car to finish, or she did. And I'm away with family.
Yeah, is your Mustang done?
It's pretty much done. It's gonna go home today. Yes, it's done. It is. It's pretty much done. So yeah, I just need to kind of wrap things up, do a final wipe, but it's definitely one of those that tugs at the heartstrings because I can't make it perfect, but we can't win them all, right?
Yeah. Well, and just, then you get to enjoy time with your family and get ready for the work day tomorrow. I have an RV to polish tomorrow. And so I'm enjoying the rest of my Labor Day off. I'm not looking forward to driving home, though, in traffic. That's probably going to happen from San Diego back to the Inland Empire. Maybe I'll make sure I'll drive this time so I can sit on my phone the whole time.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. All right. Hey, well, Kyle, you enjoy your rest of your Labor Day. Chris, you too. And thanks, Adam. Thanks for joining us from on the road. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you in 2 weeks. And again, make sure you tune in to all social media this week.
Are we going to do a special edition in 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah. Maybe so.
Maybe it'll be a special edition.
Yeah, so they want to see the Mustang, so I'll try. Let's see if we can do this here. Let's see. Can you see it? I'm so bad with here. Maybe I need to get out of the way. There we go. There it is. It's just a little rough, but it's fine. I mean, it looks good from far away. Not the best camera, but yep, there it is. It's still here.
It's just still make sure you don't point the camera in somewhere and get in trouble for pointing the camera at yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like I did last time.
Yeah, right.
Showing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Hey, Chris.
What shirt do you have on?
Oh yeah, you got to show us what shirt you have on.
Yeah, hold on. Here we go.
There we go. Oh, nice.
It's also from Blip Shift. It's got a polisher on it. It says that'll buff out.
Oh, that's funny.
I've had this one a long time. This shirt's probably 4 years old.
Yeah, that looks like one of those McGuire's like Porter Cable branded polishers, huh?
Yeah, it is. I've got my man, I've got some serious sunlight coming in here right now.
No,
that's funny.
But anyway, it's fun.
Yeah. So stay tuned for 2 weeks from today. We should have a special edition of our Q&A, and it will be Dreammaker and Coffee with Kyle and I. So make sure you tune in 2 weeks from now, but I'm sure you guys will hear all about it over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for all of it. It's going to be fun. It'll be worth the wait. That's what I can say.
Happy Labor Day, everyone.
All right. Cool. Talk to you guys later.